guys, LMA, and welcome to episode 2 of my Bristol City Career Mode series. Now, in this episode, I thought I'll start off by showing you that I'm going into the transfer window looking in for some new players, like this guy here, Daniel Cataldi. Now, what he is, he's a young Italian midfielder who I've really admired over a long while, and after watching, a load of YouTubers realize what I realized, where you can get him for less than his value. I decided that I might as well go in and go and try and buy him, because I think he's a decent midfielder, and I could get and what people on YouTube have been trying to do is pick him up for a cheap deal, and that's what he is, because you can pick him up for no more than 100,000. Which, for a 67 rated midfielder, is fantastic. Plus, as he's only 19, he's got plenty of years left on his contract. It's kind of like the glitch in FIFA this year. Same with the Newcastle midfielder Galore and players like that, where you can pick him up for literally next to nothing. Like Romano, sometimes you can go for free or like 75,000. But when I went in for him, they'd ask in around £3,000 to £5,000, depending on what club you were and all that sort of stuff. And then now I'm looking at some strikers, because I think we do need a backup striker. Although that Josh McCoy looks like a good player, he's out on loan from Bournemouth, so I can't pick him up. But I'm really looking into this player here called Freddie Sears. He is he's 24 years old. He's valued at 500,000. I'd say he'd probably be mid to late 60s. Also, still plays for a team called like Colchester, who are in around League One, in around mid-table in League One. So I'd say he'd be around that sort of rating. So now I'm showing you that I have to get rid of all what the scouts say and create my own scouting instructions to find the right players this season, as I do really need to find some good players. And so I'm putting things in here like first team quality pacey dribbler for a left midfielder, because they're really the main things that I want from a left midfielder, really. Midfielder that's able to be a decent player. But you have to be quite vague about what you want in a player to get very many sort of players that you want. As otherwise you probably won't have a chance of getting many players, and there'll be a very slim amount of players you've got to be able to get. But that's why I'm going in here now for centre back, defensive minded and first team quality, because I want every single player I have to be first team quality. As I feel that really first team quality players are always going to be the better players than having some non-first team quality players who are, say, 40, 50, 60 rated. Whereas I want players that are mid to high 60s at least, or even 70 rated players, just so that, and I want them to be moderately young. I mean, that's what you hear, 3,400 for Big Romano. But what I'm also saying is, I want them to be decent rated. Now, good news of Lehman, who I also put in the inquiry for, the 1.4 million, which is, I think it's a bit out of our range. I mean, we've got the money there, it's a bit too much money, really. But I thought I might as well go into a million, see if they can sort of work on that. But if they can't, then I'll just, leave him, get someone else. As he's just an idea. I mean, we've got this, you've got Harrison Reed here, another young player who plays for Southampton, who are probably one of the best youth teams, period. And Daniel Cataldi, like I said, they won 100,000 for him. I had to check up when I got him for the first time on FIFA, which was a long while ago. And I scouted him, and he was worth up to 1 to 2 million. And for some reason, due to the glitch on FIFA, you can pick him up for 100,000, which it's amazing, really. No. As we're looking in now, I've just about a bit of time left, and I did, miss out on a little bit of time off that. But I've signed the player that I wanted from last episode, and Galore, the young striker. Now I wanted to see if I could sign Freddie Sears, but by the looks of it, he doesn't want to come to his club, and so he's gone to Aberdeen, Aberdeen United, I think it is. Who are they're a good club, and I'm quite annoyed that I couldn't get him really because he did look like a decent player, but at least I've got another player to fall back on now. Who I've played with on career mode for 2 or 3 years, on FIFA. And, I've seen him, and he's a very good player. And so, I've decided to go in for him. That is James Hanson. He's a tall, moderately quick striker. He's 25, played for Bradford, but he's one of those players who has sort of mediocre stats, but he seems to be better in game than you'd expect him to be. He only has 2-star skills, has like 62 ball control, something like 65 finishing, but he's a good player. And then I was looking, there, some young players, but yeah. And boom, another player signed, Dylan Graham, straight from Aston Villa. 2,250 is what we want for him, but we got, we've got some good signings coming in here. Attila Viola, good player. And we've got our first team goalkeeper as well, Matty Williams, who's a very, very good goalkeeper. I had to arrange the transfer budget just a bit, just so I could afford his wage demand, which was $15,000 a week. So yeah, I prefer to have him in goal though, instead of Fielding, because Fielding's only a 63 rated, but as shown on the screen now, he's a 70 rated keeper with some very, very good stats, and he'll be up there with the best keepers in the league. And to get him for free, it's a great idea. I'm very happy to find him. And Viola, thought I'd put him in the first team as he's younger than he's younger than some of our centre backs. I want to keep Derek Williams in there because I think that he's got the best potential of anyone really in the team. So I thought I'd keep him in there as our main centre back. And then I've got Viola in there as well, who's 64 rated, but he's like 2 years younger than he's 2 years younger than what's his name? From Flint. So I thought I might as well put Viola in there because he's got 2 more extra years to grow than what Flint has, and a transfer offer was accepted for James Hanson, which was $525,000, and MP Don's come in with an offer for Marlon Pack, $365,000, but I thought no, there's no point. And Newcastle accept that offer for Newcastle accept their offer for Galore, $3,500, which is good. And I also put in a contract offer for Danilo Cataldi, who, like I said, he's definitely going to be a good player for this club if we can get him signed. And Galore here on a contract deal, £4,000 a week, which is it's a decent, it's a decent amount of money really for the young Newcastle midfielder. So I really want him to be honest. And then you got Southampton rejected the offer, but I don't really want him. I thought he'd be a last ditch sort of player. Harrison Reed, he's mid 60 rated, but not really the sort of player I want. He'd be a last ditch if Big Romana or Cataldi didn't go through, but they did. So, and now there's 2 players, Pavel Kadlesh and Ndula, on contracts. I decided to go with Ndula because I thought that he would be a much better player. And he's only 66 rated, but has some decent attributes, and he's only 24 years old, so he's got plenty of room to to improve and get better. And so I thought I might as well bring him in instead of playing Wilbraham. And so yeah, because of that reason, that's why I brought him in. So now adjusting the transfer budget again. Cataldi has declined his contract, which, you know, I don't know, it's expected, really, I guess you could say. He wanted, what was it, I gave him an £8,000 a week contract, but it's a bit greedy in wanting more money, but then again, he is playing for a big club. And Jordan Graham has declined his contract as well. He wants bigger squad roles. So, yeah, but first players brought in from the midfield sort of ways, which is Galore, 3,500, which is a fantastic, you know, it's a fantastic offer, a fantastic deal for the player. He's only 63 rated, but he has some very good stats, and I know that he can go to at least, you know, mid to late 70s on his potential. So he's definitely one player that I'd like to, you know, to work with in this team, and for in the long run, really, and hopefully can reach sort of mid 70s by the time that we hopefully hit the Premier League, because I'm gonna, you know, hopefully get automatically promoted within a certain amount of seasons. And although I'm playing the career mode on, you know, on world class, once I hit the Premier League for the last, you know, the last series I'm gonna do, so I thought, I'm thinking about it, or maybe the second last series, depending on, you know, whether I have the time to do it or not. I want to really, you know, I want to hope that he'll be at least 71, 72 rated. But Cataldi declined his contract again, being a greedy Italian as he is. And so I'm just going to have to keep offering him the money. But here's our first, you know, English striker signing, which is James Hansen. I mean, he's a great player. I really wanted to bring him in. You know, he's a decent striker. I just really like him. Also signed young Jordan Graham, who let's hope he can be Golden Graham, I suppose, because I want him to really thrive at this club, because he's a good young player. I mean, he's only 59 rated, but he's, you know, he's decent. He's got decent potential, and, you know, I just think he can really help as a backup winger. And now I'm just looking in for two young Mexican lads. You know, we have Pando and an 18-year-old winger, and they're both good, but they're both not really what I want. I'd rather stick with some English players for the season. I mean, minus Danilo Cataldi, who has now finally accepted his contract offer, £12,000 a week later. And yeah, we've got a great midfielder to add to the team now. Absolutely fantastic midfielder, and also James Hansen, who's 63 rated, and I'm going to stick on the bench. You know, because he'll be good for a first teamer as well, but it just depends on how each player plays. You've got Wes Burns, the backup right midfielder, just in case you want to swap the team around. And you know, I've got Graham there as a sort of backup just in case he gets injured. But Danilo Cataldi, look at him, 67 rated. He is a fantastic player, definitely the best, you know, highest rated player I've signed so far in this career mode. So, you know, it will definitely, you know, help the team out. But, I mean, it's not with that, you know, I'm really just proud of the team in that respect. Anyway, guys, might as well skip the, might as well just skip the things right up to the first friendly, which I have no idea who is going to be up. But, you know, I mean, oh, here you go. The first is against a Turkish side. Hopefully the Turkish fans won't do anything to my team or my fans. Just kidding. No, here's the first friendly against Turkish side Bursaspor. Hopefully we can get a result. Now they are much better. But anyway, guys, I'm going to have to finish here, so thanks for watching, guys.